very Taoist of all of you. Um, so today, we'll just carry on. And I'll start by reviewing uh, the grasping sparrow's tail. So we've done the left ward off, right ward off, roll back, press and push and single whip. And this is the core of the form. It probably represents somewhere around 35 to 40% of the form. So you've got a lot of it in you right now. To do Chengmen Ching's 37 posture form, it takes somewhere between 9 and 10 minutes usually for me. And this one, when you just do it, it's probably a minute and a half, 2 minutes maybe. But it repeats 3, 4, 5 times, something like that in the form. And it is the core of the form. So one of the understandings to get is what's happening in the body when it's opening and when it's gathering. And to get that pulse really understood and let that become kind of a teaching mechanism for yourself. And so by doing that, you'll start getting the whole body to function together. And this is the beginning of one part moves, all parts move. And this is an essential training competency for the form. What you guys were just doing, the second Qigong, and then the third Qigong, which is bending and releasing, basically bending and straightening. And this happens throughout the form. Typically, the posture points are yang, this kind of extension energy. They're also the shoot the arrow point. And so if you want to look in your own body and feel like, oh yeah, there's my spine opening up at the posture point, that's good. The transitions typically have one or more combinations of gathering and extending. But the posture points, if you can make it to a posture point, and you can look at that as, well, this is a yang point. This is one of those extension places. The very next thing has to be the yin thing. So if you have a question, go to the last known posture point that you have, and then try to drag yourself forward saying, okay, I have to transition, I gotta go yin, and then there's this yang, blah, blah, blah. So it should be like this. How do I want to say this? The length of this opening sometimes changes. For instance, when we go from the press to the push, that is quite a long, I guess it's an amplitude of the wave. Is that right? Or the length of the wave? But it's a longer cycle, and you just have to kind of know where those are in the form. That's one of them. It takes sometimes a teacher to point out where the long cycles are. And so that'll be a good one to know about. There's a couple other places, and I'll try to remind you of them when I get to them. But today we'll start with I have to adjust my computer so you guys don't go blind. We'll start with doing the review, and I'm going to put everybody. Are there any questions I should ask one time before I put everybody on mute? Okay. Thank you, Pam.
You're welcome.
And today I forgot my headphones, but if you can't hear me, I'll come back in a moment. If you can't hear me accurate, I'm outside and it's not too windy. I can plug in my shirt mic. I just won't be, I don't have my headphones with me today. They're out at my studio. So just feel free to watch this first one if you want, and then you can kind of note some of the questions you may have, where you're at, and so on. When I go like that. Okay. So I put this red piece of tape out on the floor of the patio here to kind of I'm not really directly at it. Okay, so I'm see if I can do this. Okay, that's more or less okay. So we'll get the hang of this. I know we will. And I'm going to just start from the open posture, okay? And we can talk about the commencement, preparation and commencement. But we do this pung, sinking, loading, opening, suck in. Look at my elbows as I suck in. Don't let the elbows out. Pull the elbows right back in. Like pulling rope into your body. Suck in. And then as my legs fill, my hands stay gathered. I'm going to begin by sinking left. So let me just start with this. Feel for where yin completes and then open. Then pull from the right foot. Open and step. Pull from the left foot into left ward off. Sink and gather. Draw in, pulse in the back foot. Open the diagonal. Sit all my weight back. Don't lean the body. Open and strike with my right hand. And pull in through the right leg again. And I'm going to press. So I want you to see that the pressing happens right here. It happens with the energy in the arms, but I'm not doing anything here. The arms are buoyant on the legs and the torso, the flexion and straightening in the legs and the torso. Sink, draw in, push down, and then go out. See how little my hands move. Sit all my weight in the back foot. I'm going to turn right to the front. I'm going to draw in all my weight to the right foot. So I can pick that foot up. If I have weight there and I pick up, my spine has to jiggle. So I just want to sink all the weight here until I can just relaxedly hover this foot. My teacher in Milwaukee called this the Jerry Lewis posture, where our feet are together. I'm going to open here. Push and open here. That rotates that foot. I'm going to step around, and I'm going to pull. As I pull here, as I sink in the leg, this hand floats up, turns the back foot in, and then I open in the posture. Okay, so if you want, why don't we do it together in this direction, and you can see if I can be seen by you, okay? And this is, we'll do this together now, okay? So we'll just start by doing the pung, by sinking in the legs, let the hands come up, and then open everything. And suck everything in, and then put it down. 5 changes of the wrist. Sink in the left leg, then feel your body open. Don't collapse the left knee. Pull into the right foot. Open and stretch the left foot. Don't diminish your distance between the heels. Draw in, open in the posture. Check to make sure you have this shoulder width distance off behind you. Sink here, turn, catch the ball, come up on the right toe. Turn to the right where your right toe is with the right heel. Then pull your body into the right foot. Right ward off. Turn to the right. Then sit all the way back on the left foot. Turn waist, open your body. Feel this opening. Don't lift your body up, but feel the opening and lengthening right through here, striking on this part of the hand, right in front of your heart. Then, from the right leg and the right elbow, suck everything in. This is Liu. This is roll back to here. And that creates pressing out, pressing. So very little happens in the hands. Notice my hands. The Lao Gung is attached right at the pulse point of the right hand, right here. You can see my structure. There's a diagonal here and a diagonal up this way. So when I do this, I'm not going here. I'm just compressing my body. See how my body's coming forward and then opening. Another thing I want to point out when we gather in here, watch my head top. It goes forward. So as we open, don't do this. Don't push back. This is what I call bleeding the energy. You're disengaging the energy from your body. So when you open out, this way. There's tongue energy. So as I sink in my legs, something floats. Sinking in my legs, something floats. Suck in. This is Liu. Suck in. Draw our opponent in. Pung. You. Pung. You. You completes here. Suck into here. Then open. Look at my hands. Look at the vector of the energy in my hands. Open. Attack your opponent's feet. Attack your opponent's feet. And then right at the end, when your opponent is bouncing in their light, and you just stay connected to them and send them out. Sit straight back. Don't start turning yet. So from here, don't start turning right here. First, sit straight back. Now, turn. Turn. The right foot has turned with the right hand, the nose and the navel. So the right foot is lined up this way. All the weight's in the left foot. I'm going to spiral into the right foot and there's this quality of pulling in here. So spiral in, and I want you to just make a hook. Let the hook rest right over this, so I can slap my hands here, right above my right leg, right on the right channel. Spiral in here, left hand down here, right hand up here, and this is going to become a hook. I'm going to push out. That's the strike. I'm rotating this direction, and I'm letting this come out on this direction, okay? Rotating to the left, letting the action come out on the right. Do not strike with this part of the hand. I've been telling my students now to turn this into a fist if it's going to be a strike here, and do it this way. We learn this like this. This is a great way to break your wrist, okay? So don't break your wrist. And just kind of, so here, just let it come straight out. What happens is this becomes an, so if you see what's happening with the beak up here, you can see what's happening. Imagine I'm wrapping around and grabbing my opponents here. I wrap around and grab them here. I grab their jaw at the chin, and then I pull it. This is a neck break. This is a neck break, right here. Drawing in and then out. So that is the use of the beak, at least up here, to begin. I want you to go here, and then if you want, you can do this one. Step with the left foot, then pull. Keep the elbow right where it is. As I pull, as I sink here in the leg, and I keep the elbow straight, something floats. This is the pung energy. Something floats. Ken Kanzelberger calls this the windshield wiper. Something floats, it turns in my back foot. Can you see my back foot turning here? I suck in, turn, and now I spiral, shoot the arrow, open into yang energy. Yang energy, open. The lungs are wide open. Okay, let's get together again and see if there's questions. All right, my glasses. questions on this part of the form. This is called grasping Sparrow's tail, this whole sequence. Any questions come to mind anywhere? I thought I unmuted everybody.
Just want to confirm, Bill, that you want us to start doing that punch definitely instead of the hook.
Well, I want you to see the difference, at least. So, and so if you go to any of Ben Lowe's students and teachers, they will continue with the beak, this shape here.
Yeah.
When I met Robert, you know, he said, you know, if you strike with that part of your body, you're going to hurt yourself. And I believe him, and especially into a bony part of somebody's body. So I would say practice with the punch to this, just kind of coming out like that. But know that this is intended. I mean, that this has a secondary, this is a primary effect at the assassin level of training, okay? And at some, so these postures are mudras, this idea of yoga, putting your body in this configuration and seeing what happens to the body. And this one has a very specific issue and problem it's dealing with, tension in the hand. So Ben would really have us bring all the fingers together, not just close, but all the fingers together. And then Ben would go, and then this should be nice and relaxed. Mine is only somewhat relaxed. I don't, you know, I've been doing this so long. There, now it's nice and relaxed. But this is a hard posture to relax that part of your hand in. And it's intended to be, so it's a training mechanism for studying this loose quality way out here in the fingers, okay? And this is this quality of sung, this relax. So sung is often translated in English imperfectly and only partially as relax. What it also means is loose, released. So it's, so, and Ben would always say, not collapsed asleep, not hyperextended, but somewhere in between that. So this quality, loose, shaking your hands is one of the ways that people get at this. There's a lot of shaking action in Qigongs and Tai Chi to get the body just to stop holding. And at our age, that's not an easy task. Some of us have a lot of built up holding on going on. So that's a long answer. Any other questions? And when we get together, I can show you what happens with the beak. And I asked Robert, and he showed me. And it's a very powerful, intended to actually get under the jaw, grab under the jaw, and snap somebody's neck. So, but you know, and I just want to say, understanding the martial art doesn't mean you have to have a bloodthirsty kind of attitude toward this practice, you know. So just you knowing what happens is just a way to see what is intended to loosen and relax the body, and to see some of the possible manifestations. This was done as a martial art to begin with. And when you train it that way, you get the deepest kind of benefit health-wise. So, yeah. So hopefully I don't want to fight. I don't fight. And so the greatest sung that you can do is have sung in your mind and your heart, and run away from any confrontation that may lead to violence. Okay, so enough of that. The other thing that we can do with this grasping sparrow's tail is it can function as a practice in 4 directions that's a beautiful kind of continuous loop. It's an infinity loop basically. And if you have 15 minutes, you can do grasping sparrow's tail in 4 directions for 15 minutes and have a beautiful pumping deep look into what's happening in this practice. And if you haven't done this yet, or I would say try to find how to do this, maybe we'll spend a little time with that. But the first thing I want to do, I want to put on top of, I want to flow a little bit with the practice and show you where the openings and closings are so that you can see this kind of, it's this writhing, pulsing, pumping action that the body's getting as we do our practice. And this is what's happening all the time in Tai Chi. And to understand where the openings and closings are in this one is the beginning. So I'm gonna mute everybody again. Oh, before I go, can you guys hear me okay when I'm turned away from you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to project.
Yep.
Okay, all right. I believe you, I think. Okay, here we go. All right, so the pumping in the form, pumping and grasping sparrow's tail. All right, so we've done commencement for Jings, the 4 expressions of the energy. And the first one is follow yin. When it completes, feel the opening. When that completes, feel the condensing. When that completes, feel the opening. So this is close. You can come with me if you want. Actually, let me do it with my back too so we can all do this together. So I will project. So let's do this together and just feel for the openings and closings. So we begin by gathering, by doing, and I don't like to use the word closing. I do it just by accident. I used to use that word all the time. Gathering is a better word. So gather, and then open, pull and gather again, condense, open and stretch. Gather again, pulls the back foot in, open in the posture. Gather again, all the weight left foot, open in the transition. Gather, turns the back foot in, open in the posture, continue to open. Gather, turn and open. Gather and turn, open. This is a long gathering. Gather to your back foot. Continue to gather into the front foot, then open. Sink and gather. Because now we're going to open, gather, open and step. Gather, turns the back foot in. Open in the posture. Gather, move the foot up. Open into Wu Chi. Okay. Let's do that one more time. Gatherings and extension, and gatherings and openings. So we're in the Wu Chi posture. This is our primary direction. Sink and gather. Bounce, open. Sink and gather. Bounce, open and step. Sink and gather. Turn in the foot. Open in the posture. Sink and gather. Turn, catch the ball. Open. Sink and gather, turns in the back foot. Open in the posture. Feel it in your legs. Pull in, gather. Open and strike. Sink in, gather. Open. Sink in. This is a long gather. open, sink in, gather, open, 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 gather, 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 open, 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 gather, 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 open, 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 gather, moves the foot, open through your whole body. We're in the new direction then. Start this way, we can go to this way, we go this way, and we go this way, and then we're back this way. So think of the 4 cardinal directions, and we can do this pumping on the 4 directions. So I want you to just see what I mean by this. How does the second Qigong work in this? Some of you have done this with me, and if you've been practicing for a while, this is going to be one that you want to figure out. So we think of the second Qigong as sinking and gathering, opening. So how does it look in the form? I'll just do the left ward off and show you with the Qigong hands, the Qigong effect. So sink, open, sink, open and step, sink, turn in the back foot, open in the posture, sink and gather, open, step, sink and gather, open in the posture, continue to open. So the 4 points doing this, everything coming in, everything opening out, the whole body doing this, pulsing, opening and closing. So let's do it together using the Qigong hands. You may get confused. Those of you who've been doing this with me a while, you should be starting to get this. If you're just getting started in the form, this may be a little too much. Try it. Don't worry about having it right away. It's no biggie. But I want you to see that the second Qigong lives in this form. So we're going to begin by going for yin, yin. So this is that wrapping in, everything gathers and bounces and opens. Everything's open here. Stretch. Open. Feel your head top. Everything open out. And that completes. Pull from the new foot and gather everything in. Gather, gather, gather until all the weight is sucked out of the back foot. That's the end of yin, right? Just feel for it. Feel for it in your joints. All your joints are sucking into here. Then open and step. So the stepping completes here. Don't put weight in the step. The stepping completes single weighted. All the weight's back here. But what moves the foot, what moves this foot is the opening. Then gathering turns this back foot in. Gathering turns the back foot in. And then we open in the posture. We're going to turn, sink, and gather. Pulls all the weight out of the right foot. We're going to open and step the right foot. Here's the heel. Here's the toe. Here's the heel. That's the end of yang right there. Then pull in, turns the back foot in. I get caught on the brick. Turns the back foot in, and then open in the posture. Open in the posture. Open in the posture. Continue to open on this one. We're going to open a little bit more to the diagonal here. And then we're going to suck everything in. Here. All the weight's in the left foot. No weight here. Then we're going to open and strike. I'm going to sink all the weight in here. Sink all the weight in here. Gather everything in. Gather everything in, because why? We're going to go out. Yin, yin, yang. Open. No weight in this foot. Open through the whole, open through this leg. Open here. What are the Tai Chi hands doing? Sink in. Open. Open. Strike. Right here. Strike on the opening. And then we're going to suck everything in again. So yin. Yin, 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 yin. Yang. Pressing. This is a long yin. Yin to here. And open. So from press, this is open. Yin, yin, yin is in, suck in, condense, gather. Now open. So what does it look like in the form? This is pressing out. This is pure yang energy. Everything presses out. Out. This pressing is breathing out. And I gather in. Watch this. I continue to gather in as I come into my right foot. And I complete right there. So watch the travel of my body mass. Completes there. Then I open. So how does it look with the Tai Chi hands? Gather, 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 gather. Open. So it's like 90% gather, 5 or 10% open. So sometimes we gather a lot to really open a lot. So a lot of gathering allows this opening. One more time from right ward off, roll back, right ward off, roll back, suck in, open, press out through that empty foot, draw in again. This is pressing energy. This is the long sit back to pushing energy that comes up right here. And I sit straight back. Open and turn. So that completes right there, all the weight on one foot. This is yin. This is gathering. And this is opening. Really strong on this part of the body. Imagine somebody's going to come and push me on my chest. I'm going to say, okay, come on in. And then I'm going to take them to throw. This is what Cheng said. Invite them in for tea. Invite them in for tea, and then show them the door. Sit back. Open. Gather, 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 gather. Open, 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 open. No wait, step to the new direction. Gathering turns in the back foot. Open in the posture. One more time from press to push. Push is open. Push is open. We're going to sit straight back. Gather. Now we're going to open. Sink and gather to the right foot. Open. And step. Sink and gather. Open. All right, I just want to get some feedback on that a little bit. There we are. All right, so let me hear from some folks that this will be new for. Does this idea make sense to you? This, how the second Qigong works?
Yeah, I'm feeling more of the pouring in my the legs. It's kind of a pouring sensation, whereas above the torso is more expansion, contraction,
Okay.
open, closing up there as the pouring is going on. Is there some coordination there between?
Yeah, well, ultimately, all the joints of the body are going to be doing the second Qigong. Okay.
Okay.
So, and it's good that you're feeling pouring. That's a kind of that's a um, sister effect to what's happening here. Really sending the energy down. That's the beginning of the Pung energy. And so that's important to feel pouring in the legs, and that's good. That's good that you're feeling that openness. But the whole body is going to act just like that second qigong, and we're going to take odd shapes. We're going to use odd shapes to express that. Odd mudras. I mean, they're not odd. They're just the way they are. So does that make sense to everybody, at least as an idea?
Yeah.
Yes.
Randall, does that jive?
Yeah, yeah, I really like the visual of seeing the second qigong put into the movement.
Good. Yeah.
That coiling and actually I really started seeing the spiral more.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly right. And
Yeah, that was helpful. Thank you. Really helpful.
right. I would say use this as a practice method until you really understand where things open and close. And at any point, if you don't have a teacher handy, go, well, what's happening in this one over here? Where am I opening or closing? See if you can back up to the last known opening and then go to that place and see if you can find it in your own self. So this becomes a self-correcting pedagogy for this practice. And by the way, this is not from Ben. Ben did not do this at all. This is all Robert and Talk. This is the Malaysian line of the family. Okay, so let me see, how much time do we have? Okay, we've got plenty of time. I just want to do this a little bit more. I want to just talk through the openings and closings. And when we, for some reason, Jamal's muted, but when we get all the way, so I want you to become familiar with where we're opening and where we're closing all the way through. Jamal, do you have any questions?
Because there's background noise, I don't want to expose the group.
I have too much background noise. Okay, got it. Okay,
It's all
everybody again. And I just want you to watch me to do this one time so you can really see where the openings and closings are. The posture positions are typically, I don't know any of them that are really yin. The named posture points are almost all yang. So, but after I do commencement, I'm going to gather, open, gather, open and step, gather, left ward off, open, sink and gather, open, gather, turns the back foot in, open in the posture. This one continues to open a little bit more, gather in, open, sink and gather, open and press, gather, gather, open, gather, powerful, big, swinging open, gather, open, gather, open, sink and gather, So we have this pumping going on. All right, let's do it a couple times together. And do commencement. So sink in your legs, let the hands float. So this is that scooping. Scooping. Everything open. Everything goes out. Bang. Out. Out. Out everywhere. Suck in. As the legs fill up, pouring down, the hands stay gathered and push down. Pushing, push down. Pung. G. U. On. Sink and gather. Bounce. Feel that bounciness open. Ride the natural bounciness in your body. Open and step. Sink. Turn. Open. Make it spherical. Open. Gather. Open in the posture. Continue to open. Sink all the way. Open. Open. Sink down. Pressing. Gather. Gather some more. Open. Gather, sit straight back. Open. Powerful opening. Gather in, keep your head up. Don't drop your body. Keep your head up. Open. Hold. Open. So when I get here, don't back up like this. Keep driving forward, open. Notice where my elbow is, not out here. Right in here. Right in here. Not out here. Boom. So a couple places of import. So I'm going to look at you this way and go, I'm going to go from left ward off to right ward off. I wanted you to make sure, one of the things that people do, they kind of slide right through left ward off on the way to beginning rollback, and I want you to really express left ward off, right ward off. So from left ward off, so this is looking, this big one here, there's gather, open, and I'm going to step, sinking, now open. So feel this opening, continue to open, sink in here, open. When I open here, watch my right knee. Don't collapse this right knee. So what actually happens, I'm actually extending energy through the empty leg. Robert always said the empty leg was very energetically alive. So when I get back here, I just don't kind of go like this. I want to sit here, and where's the extension? It's through that foot, through my head top, through this part of the hand, and through this hand. I'm going to sink. But don't arch your back, okay? Don't float your energy. I can actually go lower and still extend. This is an important one to get this one. So here, don't start turning right away. Look at how I collapse my right knee as well. So this one, first thing, sit back. Sit back. Now, turn. See the other foot? So I don't go like this. I turn the whole body together, okay? That works with the waist. Draw in. When you draw this in, don't collapse your body. Don't let your gaze look down. So I tell people, head up. Keep the gaze out there. Your new opponent is going to be here. Throw this guy coming in here. Okay, take care of it. Move to the next one. Let's do that one more time. Open and close together. Pung, you. This is Pung Ji, you, on, sink. Gather. Open in the posture. Gather in the transition. Open in the transition. Gather in the transition. Open in the posture. We continue to open. Gather. Turn waist and open. Gather everything back into the right side. Open. Don't back up. Don't dissipate your energy. Say again. Gather. Open. Straight back. Straight back. Don't drop your head. Bring your head right over the left foot. Cover. Relax the shoulders. Gather. Open. 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 Foot. Right with the nose and navel. Draw in. Don't collapse. Don't look down. Open. Completes. Here. Pull. Turns the back foot. Open. Head top. Forward. Shoot. So here I'm bent bow. This is releasing the arrow. Bend bow. Imagine somebody's pushing on my arm here. Bend bow. Bend bow. Shoot. Bend bow. Shoot. You condense and release. Old man Bill. Okay. Lost somebody. Okay. Oh, you guys have been unmuted that whole time, huh? No. No, I'm sorry. There we go.
Yes.
All right. Any questions, comments? So this, I would say, you're at a really good place if you're just starting out with me. To get to this, to get to the end of the grasping sparrow's tail, you know, in some traditions, this would be all you needed for like 5 years.
Wow.
Mostly, you know, and I know I'm like force feeding you guys a bunch of stuff, but this is a supreme practice. This and the spinal qigong together it's really the core of my practice, especially for the Yang Tai Chi. And I applaud you that now that you have it, and it's more exposed in the world, and that's a good thing.